Hello and welcome, friends. We'll be starting this new subject from today, rural marketing. Now, please understand that this is a very important domain for the management graduates and postgraduates. Why? Because as you would see in the forthcoming video sessions, rural markets in India, they have been growing in prominence. Why? Number one, the population is already very large to begin with. Number two, the income levels are also rising in the rural markets, and the customers in the rural markets, they also have started aspiring for better quality products. And then number three, that the competition in the rural market is much less intense. Why? Because rural markets are really difficult to tackle because of so many issues which we'll be talking about in the course of our discussion. So naturally, if the market is relatively difficult to tackle, so there would be much less number of rival products that would enter the rural market, and that is why rural market becomes very attractive for various firms, be it the FMCG firms or the automobile firms, consumer durables. So for all of them now, rural markets in India have slowly started gaining prominence, so much so that many companies are able to earn a significant share of their revenue only and only from rural markets in India. In fact, some of the companies would report that their rural markets are growing for them at a higher rate than the urban markets, which means that the rate of increase in revenue from the rural market is much more than that in the urban market. So rural markets have slowly and gradually, they have evolved as a very attractive field of play for the various marketers, and this is why you are being made to study this particular subject. So should we begin? Now, what basically is rural marketing? Let us talk about this. What basically is rural marketing? Applying the marketing theory and directing the marketing efforts to create and satisfy needs of rural customers. Now let us break down. This looks a very simple definition. In fact, I have taken it up from the internet, but then again, you can always refer to your books, and you can go for a more sophisticated definition from some well-known expert. But this simple looking definition also has its nuances. Let us try and understand what are the meanings of the various phrases which are there in this particular definition. The first thing you understand is that this basically is about rural marketing, basically is about applying the marketing theory. Whatever you have studied in marketing management, the same theory is going to apply here in rural marketing. Of course, you will have to customize that particular knowledge to suit the rural markets, and that is why while you study marketing management in the third semester, you are being made to study rural marketing in the sixth semester, because basically rural marketing actually builds upon the knowledge that you have gained in marketing management. So whatever you have studied there, whatever the theories which were applicable in marketing, they are more or less, except for a few exceptions, with few exceptions, they are more or less applicable in the rural markets also. So basically whatever you have studied there, so you have to bring it to the rural market, you have to apply it in the rural market. So this means by applying the marketing theory and directing the marketing efforts. Now what do we mean by marketing efforts? You would recall that when we talk about marketing mix, we basically talk about 4 P's. Is this okay? Now these 4 P's are the product, price, place and promotion. Now whatever efforts you are making, whether it is your product, whether it is the pricing, whether it is the distribution, the third P or place, or whether it is the promotion, the cumulative effort basically is termed as the marketing effort. Now how do you market your products? How do you direct your marketing efforts to rural markets? How do you design a product for the rural market? What specific attributes you have to include in your product to make your product an acceptable product in the rural markets? How do you price your product so that it is affordable for the rural marketers, for the rural customers? How do you place, how do you distribute your product so that it is accessible, your product is accessible to the rural customers? And then how do you promote your product so that the customers in the rural markets, they are not only aware of your product, but they have a favorable attitude towards their product, towards your product, and plus they also intend to buy your product, or they actually buy your product. So how do you design your promotional efforts? How do you design your ads, or maybe the PR, public relations exercises, public relations campaigns? How do you design your sales promotion schemes or trade promotion schemes? So this is what we mean by marketing efforts. So you have to be able to direct your marketing efforts to the rural market, and in this particular subject, in rural marketing, we are going to only study about the nuances of how to actually go about doing these things. Now the last aspect that you have to bear in your mind is the last phrase that we see here: creating and satisfying the needs. Now what do we mean by, okay, satisfying the needs is something that you understand. Satisfying the needs, you know very well that the marketer's job is to satisfy the needs of the customer, because then only the customer would be satisfied. Once the customer is satisfied, then only he'll return and he'll go for a repeat purchase. But then what do we mean by create? See, you have seen, and you would recall that we have also discussed this, that a creative marketer does not only rely on satisfying the existing needs of the customer, he in fact creates need. He makes the customer believe that a particular product is needed, and then once the customer starts believing that, he sells him that particular product, and this is how he earns profit. Now this is something which has to do with the creativity of the marketer. Now I'll give you an example. Let's talk about the shampoo as a product. The shampoo, you know that there are so many different brands of shampoo which are there in the market. Procter & Gamble has one, then HUL also has various types of brands in the market. You have got some herbal shampoos also. So basically, shampoo was never a very necessary product for your existence as a customer. It was not a necessity product. Salt is a necessity product. You cannot survive without salt, but it's not the case with shampoo. So what did the marketers do? How did they employ their creativity to make the customers believe that shampoo is a necessity product for them? You must have seen so many ads. For example, you must have seen an ad wherein you see a college goer, or maybe a student like you. He's one who does not apply any shampoo, and when he goes to his friends ridicule him for the dandruff that he has, and then he feels really depressed, and then next day he tries a shampoo, and there's a great change in the perception of the other friends of his, and they start liking him instantly, and he becomes a superhero, and everybody likes him, and he becomes a really popular personality among his batchmates. And then when you see this ad, it strikes you that, okay, no, even shampoo is important for me. It's a necessity for me, it's a necessary product for me, I need to have this product. Now this is how the marketers have been able to make a product which is basically not a necessity product. Shampoo is not a necessity product. Now this is how the marketers have been able to make the customers believe that shampoo is a necessity product, and now customers, people like you, are buying shampoo. So this is what we mean by creating the needs. So you have to be able to create the needs also, because satisfying the needs may not be able to generate that much revenue for you. In any case, there are so many people who are already, so many competitors of yours who are already satisfying the existing needs. So a good idea, a better idea would be to create some new need and then go on to satisfy it, and this is how you earn your revenue. Now this is the job of the marketer, and the same thing you will have to do here in rural markets as well. You will not only have to satisfy the needs, that in any case you will have to do, but then you will also have to be creative enough to create new needs so that the customers perceive those needs, and then once the customer starts perceiving those needs, bring up products or services in the market which satisfy those needs, and thus increase your sales volumes, your revenue earnings, your profits. So this is what the definition which has been shown here tells you. So just don't go by the 20-30 words which have been shown here. They have deeper meaning to them, and that is why whenever you are writing these kind of definitions in your copies, when you are writing your exams, you have to specify every single phrase. Now hopefully you have understood what rural marketing is. So basically in rural marketing, in significant measure, what we have to do is whatever we have studied in marketing management, we will have to bring that knowledge and apply it in the rural market. So naturally, since the rural markets are not similar to urban markets in all respects, so naturally what you will have to do is the theories and the principles which you have studied in marketing management, they will have to be modified a little. So it's not as if you are putting the theory as it is, you are employing the theory, the marketing theory as it is in the rural markets. You'll have to modify them, and this is what we are going to study in this particular subject. And we'll now have regular video sessions on this particular subject, and just keep taking down the notes, because many times what might be there on the slide may on its own may not be self-explanatory, and you'll have to note down every single thing that I'll be talking about in these video sessions. So thank you very much for your attention. In the next video session, we'll be talking about how do we categorize a particular market as a rural market or as a urban market. So this would follow in my next video session, which would also be uploaded in a few days time. Thank you very much for your attention.